Mobile water, unique in every way.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News. .3 FM. This is the Citi Prime News. We're broadcasting live from our studio at Adabraka here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up in the bulletin, over 5,000 pupils displaced, 13 teachers flee following communal clash at Bunyiri in Savannah region.
44 schools have been disrupted as a result of the spillover, and this is in about 5 of our circuits. In all, over 5,600 pupils have been affected negatively.
Also in the bulletin, President Mahama urges political accountability to sustain African democracies.
Democracy will not survive by itself if we don't work for it. Whatever system of government you have, autocracy, democracy, theocracy, whatever, if it does not deliver opportunities and prosperity to the people, it will not survive.
Still on the Citi Prime News, Transport Minister pledges to address salary concerns of railway workers as they threaten strike over their 12 months arrears.
We are engaging with the Ministry of Finance and stakeholders to develop a sustainable solution going forward. We feel for the workers and we have gotten close to resolving this issue and getting them their salaries.
And later on the Citi Prime News, Black Stars midfielder Thomas Partey trial set for November 2, 2026 as he pleads not guilty to 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. All that and more coming up on the Citi Prime News, which is live around the world on citinewsroom.com. In the Western region, you can find us on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrady. In the Bono region, we are live on J-Live 95.5 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're on Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Global 105.1 FM in Ho, and Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakuluwaya.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful to you for your time this afternoon. Here now are the details of our stories, and we begin from the Savannah region, where 44 schools in the Sola Tuna Kalba district have been closed following violent clashes over land at Bunyiri. The unrest has disrupted academic activities in 5 circuits, displacing more than 5,000 pupils. Savannah Regional Education Director Bright Lawo, in an interview with Citi News, says 13 teachers have fled for safety. He appealed to authorities to restore calm to allow teaching and learning to resume.
In all, over 5,600 pupils have been affected negatively. You know, the people were running, so they also ran with their parents and guardians. In fact, for the staff, 13 of our staff cannot work presently. They've also gone into hiding as a result of the unfortunate situation. Call something education in emergency. So, in collaboration with UNICEF, we've gotten some items from UNICEF headquarters in Accra, so that will provide tents, temporary classroom structures at where the people are camping, so that we will give education to their wards. On our record, we have over 5,000 that ran away from their community. But at the camps, the numbers of the children will determine the measures we will put in place. For now, we have canopies from UNICEF that create 4 classroom space, and each of them can take up to 50 learners at a time, so that they even supply us with learning materials, play equipment, so that we engage them.
You heard the Savannah Regional Director of Education, Bright Lawo. Meanwhile, the camp set up at the Sola District Police Headquarters in that region to house persons displaced by the Bunyiri land clash is expected to be shut down by the end of the week. Regional Director of NADMO, Mahama Zakaria, tells Citi News that the directive came from the Interior Minister. He says arrangements are being made to transport the remaining displaced persons to their respective destinations under full security protection.
Many of the people have already left by themselves and not evacuated as planned, that we're going to send them back to their communities. As I speak with you, we have just a few people left at the camp here, and this morning we had made an arrangement for them to go, because having a conversation with them, they made it clear that they were still at the camp because they didn't have means of transport or the lorry fare to be able to go back to their community. And so after having a conversation with them, they made that open to us. I've made an arrangement for these tricycles to come and pick them to their community. Right now, what we are thinking about is how to support them to properly reintegrate into their community, and that is our concern. As NADMO, for now, that is our concern, how to get them reintegrated into the community, because many of them cannot feed. As they said, their farm crops have been grazed by Fulani herdsmen, and so NADMO, we need to find a way to see how we can support them for the shortest period so that they can properly rearrange themselves and to make life better for them.
Voice of the Savannah Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Mahama Zakaria. Away from the Savannah region, President John Dramani Mahama says democracy cannot survive without accountability from leaders. Delivering the opening address at the 2025 Democracy Dialogue, the president warned that government's failure to remain accountable is fueling growing youth interest in military rule. President Mahama says unless transparency and accountability are strengthened, democratic governance will be undermined.
What are the things we need to do to sustain democracy? Democracy will not survive by itself if we don't work for it. And like Omar Toure said, whatever system of government you have, autocracy, democracy, theocracy, whatever, if it does not deliver opportunities and prosperity to the people, it will not survive. Because all the Afrobarometer surveys and all the other surveys they did, and in many of these surveys they added the question, do you prefer democratic government or would you support a coup d'etat? And it was frightening to notice that a lot of our young people said they would prefer to live under a military government. And so that should give us pause for thought. And that is why I said that we need a reset.
That was President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. Now, the Ministry of Transport says it is taking steps to address the concerns of railway workers who have gone nearly a year without salaries. The workers who have expressed frustration have threatened to strike and picket on September 30. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, Transport Minister Joseph Nikpe says his outfit is engaging the Ministry of Finance to find a sustainable solution.
The Ghana Railway Development Authority is currently collaborating with security agencies and Lands Commission to launch a campaign to remove encroachers from the railway right-of-way and perfect titles to railway lands nationwide. This is to enable our contractors to have unimpeded access to land and facilitate early completion of railway projects. The Ghana Railway Company's operations have declined over the years due to infrastructure deterioration, which has limited its capacity to generate sufficient revenue to cover its operational costs, including staff salaries. We are engaging with the Ministry of Finance and stakeholders to develop a sustainable solution going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I must add that we feel for the workers and we have gotten close to resolving this issue and getting them their salaries.
Now, to address the frequent accidents on the Volta Lake and other water bodies, Transport Minister Joseph Nikwe says government will deploy safety officers to enhance inland water transport. The officers are expected to be commissioned by the end of 2025 after completing their training.
Most people living along the water lake and other water bodies depend on canoes and boats for daily transportation. However, inland waterways often lack security measures, leading to frequent accidents and deaths. This year alone, 7 students drowned in Dupe, Laura District, and 2 people died in a boat accident in Bompama in the Wild West. Even my constituency, Sabuba, has had its fair experience in boat accidents. To improve the safety of inland water transport, government through the Ghana Maritime Authority is deploying safety officers and establishing satellite offices. His Excellency the President will commission the safety teams later this year after their training.
You heard Transport Minister Joseph Nikwe taking his turn at the Government Accountability Series, the platform created by the government for ministers of state to account for their stewardship. Now, Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachio-Fosu, has accused the opposition New Patriotic Party of hypocrisy in its criticism of proposed utility tariff hikes. The NPP has raised concerns about possible increases by the Volta River Authority, the Electricity Company of Ghana, Northern Electricity Distribution Company, and Ghana Water Limited. However, speaking on Channel 1 TV's Face to Face, Felix Kwachio-Fosu argued that a tariff adjustment framework was introduced under the previous NPP government's IMF program. Felix Kwachio-Fosu further explained that not all proposals submitted by the utility companies are approved, emphasizing that the government will ensure that proposed tariffs are reviewed and scaled down where necessary.
In fact, it has never been the case that the utility service providers have received the exact amounts in the proposal that they present to PLC. Often they quote certain figures, but PLC looks at it and then strikes a certain balance, but almost every time it is substantially reduced. What it is that as part of the IMF arrangements that the NPP entered into, and this document I can share it with you, they agreed with the IMF as a conditionality for accessing about $300 million when the review that took place before we came to power was completed. That's around December 2024. That they were going to do periodic tariff adjustments, quarterly tariff adjustments, and then in September they will do a major tariff adjustment. And this was agreed upon by the MPP. It is cast in stone, calcified, so it must also go on record. So when the MPP comes to lament electricity price increase, you know that they are being duplicitous and hypocritical. They are simply not telling the truth. They went to agree it. We are bound by it. But often when this is about to happen, the PLC engages stakeholders in consultation. So they invite the utility companies to present proposals on what they would like to be done. But they will go through it with a fine comb and ensure that customers are not worse off. So you may have seen some figures being bandied about, but I am confident that those figures will not reflect.
Now, Felix Kwachio-Fosu also defended the government's efforts in the fight against illegal mining, stating that several measures have been implemented, leading to improvement in the situation.
I have said it and I'll repeat it. That government was complicit in Galamsey. Their party hierarchy was involved. Indeed, Professor Frimpong Boateng, who they themselves chose to lead the fight, has a report which is damning and shows the involvement of government officials, party officials. He has gone on record to have said that Galamsey was a major source of financing for the New Patriotic Party. So it was little wonder that they were not interested in fighting it. Ghanaians are right to demand action from this government. We are alive to that responsibility. Since we've been in power, we've done a number of things. So if you want to see whether the situation has improved or it has worsened, you need to look at the hard cold facts. What were the facts? When we came to power in January 2025, an assessment showed that as of that time, there were 288 forest reserves. Out of these 288 forest reserves, Galamsey threatened 44 of them. In other words, there was some Galamsey activity in 44 of them. 9 out of those 44 had been completely taken over by armed gangs who were doing as they pleased and superintending Galamsey on a massive scale. Now, what is the situation? The situation now is that all the 9 forest reserves have been repossessed by government through the Galamsey Task Force.
Voice of the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachio-Fosu. Well, let's stay with illegal mining and its effects. The municipal chief executive of Takwa in the western region, Ebenezer Kobina, says the shutdown of the Bonsa water treatment plant has left residents without water for over a month. The development forms part of the decision by the Ghana Water Limited to shut down some treatment plants across the country due to the increasing turbidity levels caused by illegal mining activities. On speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Ebenezer Kobina maintained that although the fight against illegal mining has been slow, some measures like the Blue Water Guards are effective.
The aspect of people not getting water in Takwa for the past 1 month is correct. Yes, I heard this that the taps are not flowing in their various homes. And you know, Takwa is the only place that we depend on supply of water is the Bonsa River. So when the incident came to my attention, I had to rush there to ask why. Why is it that there's no, water in the various homes? So I met the station manager. The situation, is terrible. And when you went there, it's like the river, it has gone down very, very drastic. So, this incident, it didn't start today. We are doing our best as municipality. The police, they are all in, they are all in helping this very cause. The Blue Water Guards do not work in isolation. They have the police architecture who are also attached to the Blue Water Guards.
You heard Ebenezer Kobina, the municipal chief executive of Takwa in the western region. Meanwhile, a retired media practitioner based in Takwa, Tony Nkrumah Boateng, has cautioned against the deployment of the military to combat illegal mining in the western region, warning that such a move could cripple the entire local economy.
The economy has been tailored in such a way that it's so dependent on mining activity here. It's so dependent. Between Takwa on your way to Isioso, on your way to Takwa Banso, everywhere is Galamsey activity. If you want to put in militiamen, then you eventually have to shut the whole town down. The whole town will have to go down, because I can tell you that, it's visible, and it's a rampant effect. The economic effects of Galamsey is the thing that will be hit so hard that I don't know what solution can be found towards it, because apart from the mining activity, there's virtually, Takwa is a municipal authority. Takwa is municipal. We have banks here, we have everything here, but I can tell you everything is tailored around mining.
You heard Tony Nkrumah Boateng. He's a retired media practitioner based in Takwa in the western region. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We're broadcasting from our studio in Adabraka here in Accra. We're also live around the world on citynewsroom.com. In the northern region, you can listen to us on Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the Upper West region, we're on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. In the Upper East region, we're on Source 100.5 FM in Boko. And in the Northeast region, we're on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nangpanduri. Still ahead in the bulletin, where Black Stars midfielder Thomas Partey's trial set for November 2, 2026, as he pleads not guilty to 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. We have details shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah.
The winning season is back, but this time I am collecting the wins like jollof at a wedding. The luckiest season 3 is here. Your chance to flip your luck, or maybe your bank account too.
2 easy ways to join. Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you, or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number, or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, click community tickets, choose your number, or let the system do so for you. You can buy a ticket for your boo or your favorite barber. Pay with Momo or card if you're abroad.
1 ticket could turn your 1 Ghana Cedi into 500 times more, and the whole community could win 10 times over.
Dial *712# or log on.
Let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. This is the City Prime News on 97.3 City FM. In more news, the National Identification Authority has cautioned banks and other institutions against relying on photocopies of Ghana cards for identity verification. Executive Secretary Wisdom Kwekudeku explained that photocopies are insecure and prone to fraud since they do not prove ownership. He stressed that only biometric checks such as fingerprints or facial recognition can authenticate a person's true identity.
Any point in time anybody presents his or her identity, which is the Ghana card, for transaction, that person needs to be authenticated or verified from the NIA. That is why we've already been insisting that at no point should anybody do photocopy, because the moment you do photocopy of the cards, no, you've not established the person's identity. And you will all agree with me that identity is not a privilege, it is a fundamental human right. Without a recognized and verifiable identity, citizens are excluded from opportunities, from education, from healthcare, financial services, and participation in national development. It is practical necessity for access to services. Championed by ID for Africa, the ID Day celebration is consistent with the UN's SDG target 16.9.
You heard the Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority, Wisdom Kwekudeku. Away from that, the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs says it is finalizing a new environmental sanitation policy to strengthen Ghana's response to pollution, including air quality management. As part of the project, 52 low-cost air quality sensors have been deployed across the Greater Accra metropolitan area to track pollutants. Speaking on the sidelines of a validation workshop for air quality action plans, Director of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry, Osama Idris Samu, says the policy has been submitted to Cabinet for consideration and will later be presented to Parliament for approval.
Air pollution is part of environmental pollution. So for that matter, we are now at the point of finalizing the environmental sanitation policy that we have formulated. We have sent to Cabinet for consideration and then subsequently sending it to Parliament for approval. And when these things are done, then it becomes a law. Once it becomes a law, the bylaws will be biting as and when you misbehave towards the pollution of the environment. I prefer saying environment because air is part of the environment. So plans are in place to make sure all these policy documents are ready for Cabinet consideration and then approval by Parliament. And like we are saying, we are not only in air pollution planning, we have other programs that we are running. Mention can be made of smart SDG project that most of these assemblies that we have supported are also bringing them on board.
You heard Osama Idris Samu. He's the Director in charge of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Still on matters of the environment, Ghana and China are set to sign a memorandum of understanding to strengthen cooperation on climate action. China has pledged to roll out more than 30 renewable energy projects across Africa over the next 3 years, with Ghana expected to benefit. Speaking at the Ghana-China Climate Summit, Executive Director of the Africa-China Center for Policy and Advisory, Paul Frimpong, says an implementation team will oversee the agreement to advance joint renewable energy and green development projects.
After this summit, as was reiterated by the minister during his speech, we are going to see some tangible action. For example, we're establishing a formal engagement between the two countries through an MOU that will be signed. Obviously, because the minister himself is not here, we're not able to actualize it at this summit. But that's going to be a follow-up thing that we're going to do. Actually, there's that MOU signing between the government of Ghana and that of China. And after that, there will be a mechanism in place where there will be an implementation team between two governments, of course, that will be in the middle to ensure that the communication actually goes on, that we actually see the implementation of whatever action that is. In fact, for us, one key thing that stands out for us is the core pillars that were established in the FOCAC meeting in Beijing. China runs a recipient model approach, they announced that they want to do 30 plus projects in renewable energy across Africa in the next 3 years. That is the announcement. What it will take for Ghana to tap in is from Ghana, not from China. So we have to initiate. We have to be the one to put our renewable energy priorities in line.
You heard the Executive Director of the Africa-China Center for Policy and Advisory, Paul Frimpong. Now, in some other news, Black Stars midfielder Thomas Partey has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault, with his trial set for November 2, 2026. According to the UK's Crown Prosecution Service, the former Arsenal midfielder faces 2 counts of rape involving 1 woman and 3 counts involving another, while the sexual assault charge relates to a 3rd woman. Thomas Partey denied all the charges when he appeared at Southwark Crown Court yesterday. Now, Federated Commodities PLC, a leading indigenous licensed cocoa buying company, has expressed readiness to add to the titles it won at the 2024 Citi Business Olympics. The annual corporate sports gathering, the Citi Business Olympics, is set for Saturday, September 27 at the Eden Heights Sports Complex in Weja. Speaking on Traffic Avenue on Citi FM, Head of Projects and Business Development at FedCo, Solomon Odonko, assured that the company is prepared to claim more titles.
Since winning those 4 trophies, it gingered us on businessly. And then we've also participated in your shows, your agri shows. And this is Ghana. We're there with Asida Rice, coming again with Asida Rice, and we are outdooring our Amaria. Right. Yeah. So we have a lot to be grateful for, especially to Citi Business, giving us these platforms to showcase and having the trust in indigenous Ghanaian companies. Another thing which is very important was the distressing factor. You know, after the 2024 December elections and the tension that hand on corporates and taxation a year. In fact, this is the first activity that is going to release us.
Okay.
Just nationally.
Why stress?
Stressed. Tension was high. It's now that we are feeling the resetting.
Solomon Odonko is Head of Projects and Business Development at Federated Commodities PLC. Meanwhile, Head of Programs Production at Channel 1 TV, Apioko Ashon Seram Abe, has also hinted at a twist for this year's edition.
There are some new additions. This time we have clinics, and the de-stressing is one factor. But people are stressed and don't even know how to de-stress. How do you do that? There are many angles to that. So we have a general wellness center where you can speak to a nutritionist or a dietitian. There's a clinic there. And then also a psychology clinic, because sometimes the stress is also in the mind. And we've seen it happening over and over. Working with people, they're not able to concentrate. They're going through things at home. And now the HR managers will tell you that you bring your whole self to work. It's no longer leave your problems at home and come and do the work. When you come bag and baggage. And so we also want to encourage people to speak to the professionals who can also help them if they're dealing with some challenges on that front. Then for exercise, usually we have aerobics in the morning. Now we'll be seeing it more intermittently, and then we also have workout sessions. So for those who are not competing, maybe this is the only time you will do any gym work for the next year.
Anyway.
So you come, there are workout sessions for everybody.
Apioko Ashon Serma Abe, the Head of Programs Production at Channel 1 TV, explaining what to expect at this year's Citi Business Olympics. Remember, the Citi Business Olympics 2025 is powered by Citi FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Side Hustle. It is proudly sponsored by UMB Bank with support from Bethel Logistics and Dampon Healthcare. Well, that'll be all for this edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka here in Accra. For more news, log on to our website, citinewsroom.com. I am Charles Osukumi. Many thanks to you for listening.
Citi News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959.